So I wrote Iggy Peck Architect because when my son was young, when he was, 2, 3, 4 years old, he loved building things. So Legos, of course, but blocks, and he would take the soup cans out of the pantry and build towers with those. And we'd go to restaurants, and he'd take those packages of jelly and make houses, which I thought was amazing. Waitresses did not think that was so cool. And understandably, it's probably the last thing you want to see as a kid touching all the jelly packs. But I got to thinking, well, what if? What if there was a kid who wanted to be an architect? And the book just sort of showed up after that. And it's a rhyming book. And what I've found with rhyme is that a book is either in rhyme or it's not in rhyme. I cannot make it prose if it comes to me in rhyme. And it's sort of like writing a song. And it's really like hearing a song through a wall where you can almost make out the words, but you can't quite. So you can kind of hear the rhythm, and you can kind of catch the odd word, and that's how a rhyming book sort of comes to me. Like it's sort of just out of my reach, but the more I think about it, the more I start playing with the language, and then it just sort of, I can start hearing it and then writing it into the story. So that's where Iggy Peck came from. And so I wrote the book, and found a publisher, Abrams Books for Young Readers. So actually, it was at Dutton. My editor, Susan Van Meter, was at Dutton at that point, and she loved it. I read it to her at a conference, and she loved it. And then as soon as we decided to publish it, then she moved. So that's why I'm at Abrams. That's business stuff. But Susan Van Meter then reached out to David Roberts in England. He's an illustrator in London. And she said, well, I'm thinking about David Roberts, and I really wasn't familiar with his art. I had seen some of his pictures, which were very Edward Gorey-esque, and I do adore Edward Gorey, so I'm like, well, I can't quite visualize that, but sure, yes, absolutely, whatever you think. And it ends up just being one of the greatest matches, I think. And the comment I get most about Iggy Peck is how beautifully the art matches the words. He basically worked only from the text that's in Iggy Peck, and returned this world that was unlike anything I could ever imagine, and so much greater than anything I could ever attempt to do myself. And mostly this beautiful, beautiful classroom of kids. This classroom is just the most beautifully, wildly diverse class. But I go to schools, and I will present to kids, and I look into the audience, and it's those kids.